Plenty of people put on some pounds one way or another, from overeating during the holidays or from the pandemic we've experienced. It's clear that people use these things as a rationale to get to the gym and try and shed that weight. While that is all fine, it doesn't change the fact that some people might be going too hard or too fast in terms of an eating plan and exercise, and risk themselves burning out or ruining their body further due to dubious eating habits. Nutrition itself is tricky and can fuel our beliefs around food, but the same is true for exercise as well. Even avid gym-goers can believe fully in these myths and in turn influence their behavior and actions. Here are some myths that people believe are actual facts when they're not. Number 1, exercising is normal. One thing I learned quickly at the gym is that the movements I'm doing are similar to movements I do in real life. This is great for beginners as you should be working out those precise movements, so it'll be easier to do them beyond the gym. But it also brings to light the fact that exercise isn't actually normal. What is normal is our everyday movements. Even our ancestors would agree with this, as you'd never see them performing a 5-mile jog for the sake of it, nor would they be doing any weightlifting. The only time they and we would do this is if there was a reward involved. Number 2, not doing extra work means you're lazy. There are plenty of ways to incorporate exercise into your daily life. If you work in an office building, take the stairs to get to your desk rather than an escalator or elevator. Stand in public transit rather than sitting down. Some of these things are just small things you can do, but if you don't feel like it, that's fine. The problem is people fervently believe that if you take the easier way, that makes you lazy when in reality you're not. Again, exercise isn't normal and it is voluntary. It's poor thinking to believe that if you're doing less, that means you're lazy. Number 3, sitting is bad for you. This has some truth to it, as there are plenty of research to suggest sitting is bad and that we do a lot of it and it's killing us. But the issue is people are taking those facts and stretching them to the point that any of this behavior is terrible. It's not. Sitting is something we can't avoid. Even our ancestors were doing it and were sitting for about 10 hours per day. It's not so different from Westerners. In the end, as long as you're making a point of getting up and moving around a bit every so often, you'll be fine. Number 4, our ancestors were strong, fast, and hardworking. As we've urbanized the world, there are plenty of people who think our ancestral years were when humanity was in peak performance, physically speaking. We like to think that, but that's not really the case. Sure, they might be fitter physically, but it doesn't mean they're stronger or faster. They spent 2 to 3 hours every day doing moderate to vigorous activity. It's good, but it's not sustainable. Number 5, walking isn't enough to lose weight. There is no precise formula for how to be losing weight at all. That said, many programs are going to put you on a meal plan along with some weight training and a little cardio. Some can argue cardio isn't worth it for a wide variety of reasons. And while those are true, it not being a way to lose weight is a lie. A lot of weight loss comes from what you are eating. Exercise is a good supplement, but any form of exercise is enough. Number 6, running wears down your knees. Many will point to runners with knee injuries over the years as examples, and while those runners did get hurt, it's not from weak knees. Our body is not like a car. It's not like our kneecaps are shock absorbers and running wears them down. Rather, working those joints in any fashion strengthens them, as well as those muscles. When it comes to injuries, those stem from people's form not being proper or not having enough training at lower intensities. Number 7, it's normal for older people to be less active. I can understand that when you're older, the retirement years are spent doing nothing, but that is a myth. Sure, there are a lot of people who will do that, but it's often more detrimental to themselves for being inactive. Sitting around doing nothing all day is pretty much a death sentence. Instead, it's better to be active, and I've met plenty of older people who exercise regularly for various reasons. Number 8, there is an optimal amount of exercise. Medical professionals standardize the process and suggest you exercise 150 minutes every week. If you're doing vigorous exercising, you can cut that time in half. Even though that's a standard, it's still very broad as there are many other factors involved. Things like how active you are right now, your age, and whether you've got medical issues or have been hurt before. Those change the number, and so it's hard to say what is an optimal amount. Number 9, you just have to show up. In terms of motivation, believing in this myth that you have to make it to the gym or do that run is pretty weak. It's akin to telling an alcoholic or smoker to not drink or smoke. Instead of telling yourself that, think about your own story and give yourself a deeply personal reason to exercise. Number 10, exercise is everything. Sure, exercise is helpful, but it's no panacea to a healthy life. I've been going to the gym for a few years now, and my weight loss is still a work in progress. It helps, and I can imagine I'd be worse off without it, but it's only one piece to a puzzle, and even then, it's optional. Whether you're starting out or have been exercising for a while, these myths are something we've held onto long enough. For sure, exercising is important, but it's not like you need to go to the gym or put in hours to benefit from it. Pay attention to your body, and you'll find your own path.